Hi, this is Mike Mall. I'm bringing you the devotional for this week. Now, I've been sick the last day or two with a terribly bad cough, and so I'm going to make this devotional hopefully short and sweet. Now, somehow in the last week, I'm not sure how, I ended up in 1 Kings 20 reading about King Ben-Hadad of Aram. And this is Aram had taken some Israelite cities, and this king Ben-Hadad was coming back for more. So I'm just going to read to you from 1 Kings 20. Now Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, mustered his entire army. Accompanied by 32 kings with their horses and chariots, he went up and besieged Samaria and attacked it. He sent messengers into the city to Ahab, king of Israel, saying, "This is what Ben-Hadad says. Your silver and gold are mine, and the best of your wives and children are mine." The king of Israel answered, "Just as you say, my lord the king. I and all I have are yours." The messengers came again and said, "This is what Ben-Hadad says. I sent to demand your silver and gold, your wives and your children. But about this time tomorrow, I am going to send my officials to search your palace and the houses of your officials. They will seize everything you value and carry it away." The king of Israel, Ahab, summoned all the elders of the land and said to them, "See how this man is looking for trouble? When he sent for my wives and my children, my silver and my gold, I did not refuse him." The elders and the people all answered, "Don't listen to him or agree to his demands." So somehow, when Ben-Hadad says, "I'm going to take your silver and the gold and the best of your women and children," somehow that was acceptable to Ahab. But then he was going to come into his palace and basically have his run of the place. Then Ahab decides that's too much. So he tells him, "No." We have this in verse 9. So he replied to Ben-Hadad's messengers, "Tell my lord the king, your servant will do all you demanded the first time, but this demand I cannot meet." They left and took the answer back to Ben-Hadad. Then Ben-Hadad sent another message to Ahab, "May the gods deal with me, be it ever so severely, if enough dust remains in Samaria to give each of my men a handful." The king of Israel answered back, "Tell him, one who puts on his armor should not boast like one who takes it off." And of course, I'd read that verse before. It's a well-known verse. The idea is when you go to battle, you put your armor on. That's not the time to boast. The time to boast is when you take it off. You've won the battle and you're still alive. If you lose and you die, obviously you don't take off your own armor. Somebody else takes it off for you. So I think about that, and I think about my life, and are there areas in my life where I'm kind of boasting before I take my armor off? And when we talk about armor, of course, a lot of us are going to think about Ephesians chapter 6, where it talks about the armor of God. I just want to read Ephesians 6:13. It says, "Therefore put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything, to stand." So we're called to put on the armor of God so that we can stand against the evil one in the day of trouble, and then in the end, stand. Essentially, stand firm in our faith, persevere. We have our faith until the end, and we're really not called to take our armor off until we go to be with the Lord, right? So I think about that. Am I boasting in areas of my life where I haven't taken my armor off? I haven't succeeded. I think of one area where I might be tempted to boast would be, hey, I could think to myself or tell somebody, yeah, I have a strong faith. But I know the reality is I'm much better off to say I have a weak faith in a strong Savior. I have a faith that needs to be nursed and nurtured and guarded and protected and fed and grown. That's the kind of faith I have. But in reality, a lot of times I act like I have a strong faith. I act like I have a faith that doesn't need to be fed or guarded or protected, or that can go days or weeks on its own. So I have to be careful to understand that I have a weak faith that needs to be protected. So you can think about that verse. Are there any areas in your life where, hey, you maybe think you've got this figured out, or you're maybe a little bit proud of yourself in this area, but it's not a situation where you can really take the armor off? I'm hesitant to ever say I have a strong faith because I don't want Satan to hear that and think, well, I'll show Mike how weak his faith really is. I'll just bring some bad circumstances into his life. I don't want to tempt the devil. So I'm likely to say I have a weak faith in a strong Savior, which is pretty accurate in my opinion. So I hope you guys all have a good week. I hope you stay healthy. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. God bless you.